Well, here to tell us more are Terrence Nunn and Jim Burns, both of whom were evacuated, and Mary Spate, a teacher who accompanied children at the time. So welcome to all three of you. Nice to see you. Now, Terrence, to set the scene, have people been given a lot of warning that the children may be evacuated from the cities?
Well, as a child, I was told I was going on holiday to somewhere nice in the country.
But the day you were sent away, was that the first you'd really heard of it?
No, we had several rehearsals. We'd go to school with our gas masks and our little haversacks with change of clothes and things. And then one day, that was it.
You had to go?
We had to go, yes.
I want to move to Jim, because, Jim, your story, just give me the background of where you were actually living at the time.
Well, we was living in 34 Alberta House. It was a tenement block built by the LCC about 1936-37. Prior to that, we lived in Rook Street, probably, which was the pittance of slums. You know, there was 9 of us, plus Mum and Dad, in 2 rooms. But, of course, moving to the tenement block with a scullery and a bathroom and a toilet separate was a bit all right, you know.
But you actually had quite a tough background, too, in terms of your parents, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, there was, like... I mean, Dad was a stevedore, you know, but hard. He was an alcoholic and a workaholic, you know. He mixed the two, you know, so he was all right. He was Jekyll the lad in the pub, but when the lights went down for going home time, Jekyll and I took over, and, of course, Mum took the beatings.
So from this background as a family, then, spin forward to the day that you left, because there were 4 of you all together that went on this particular trip, didn't you?
5.
5 of you
4
altogether.
brothers and my sister, yeah.
OK. So where did you go? Which station did you leave from?
Well, Paddington, yeah, Paddington, and then we got to Botley, and my brother Bob, he's 13, he was the eldest of us, he said, we ain't going in there, so we all got back on a double-decker, and all the other kids followed, so we didn't know where, we wasn't going in this corrugated out. So we get back on the bus, and, of course, it's dark now, and this double-decker bus has never been through country lanes like we was going. It was, like, narrow, and the trees are scratching at it. And we was frightened out of our life. Of course, we get to the Wytham village, which is like a big sloping village hall, you know. And, yeah, we went in there, and there was all cakes and everything. And then we was all auctioned off, you know. They wanted, like, kids of 10 and 12 of farmers.
So thought you'd really landed in it?
Well, later on we did, but at the time, like, when we were walking up, all the bats are flying and the old church is booming out its bells, and we go through these great big wrought iron gates and a massive castle. And Bobby said, we ain't living in no bleeding happy, and he starts to run, you know.
When you woke up then the next day in daylight, all of a sudden you're in the country, you had animals.
Oh, well, you can imagine, like, because they had wooden shutters. You know, it's posh, you know what I mean? Oh, you all had their own beds, lovely cotton sheets. We had old overcoats on our bed in the old tenement block.
Yeah.
So, of course, I heard this screaming, so I said to Bobby, I said, Bob, what's that? He said, go and have a look, because you always done that. Like, he always sends a Sherpa forward, like, you know. So I opened up these shutters, and there, you wouldn't believe it. Lawns and fir trees and big... Talk about the yellow brick road, and there it went. Right
that was it.
Town. And then there was all this screaming. And I looked in this fir tree, and there was birds that big screaming out. I'm shouting out, bleeding eagles! Bleeding eagles!
Now, Mary's listening to you very, very carefully here. Mary, you were an art teacher at the time.
Yes.
So had you been warned that you would have to travel with a party of school children?
Well, yes. In the summer term, the London County Council, as it then was, with the help of teachers, head teachers and so on, they'd met at County Hall and planned a most wonderful scheme which went without a flaw. And so we knew there was talk of this, but and in school we had to make covers for the gas masks in my school. Now, I was a pacifist, and I didn't believe we'd ever go away anyway, so I just refused to do it. I didn't do it till my headmistress came one day and said, well, you really must, you have to do it, so we had to. And then it came that in the month of August, a week before we evacuated, all teachers were summoned through the radio to attend a report at their schools. And while we were there, I was so convinced we'd never go, that I got all my art materials ready for the coming term to be well prepared.
But in the end, actually,
we
went to
go.
Somerset. You
That's
had to
right.
go.
We'd been there about a week when my headmistress said, Miss So-and-so has managed to get her car, go up back to school and bring the art materials. And so we did.
It's
and I
marvellous that you
brought
kept
big
all that
papers
stuff.
and we put them, you know, they have those old-fashioned desks. We had to spread them over like that to paint.
Fantastic. And just to come back finally to Terrence, I mean, we've been hearing good stories, but yours wasn't so good.
No, it wasn't. No.
So you had come from a very, I mean, quite a wealthy family with all the mod cons.
Not wealthy, but we weren't poor.
But you had mod cons, fridges and all that
That's
sort of
right,
stuff.
yes.
Where did you end up?
I ended up in a mining village in South Wales. This country place that I was promised turned out to be a very poverty-stricken place, and it was quite a culture shock.
So you were harassed, I gather, quite a lot by
Yes,
the daughter of the family.
The daughter of the family, a teenager, she took a dislike to me. She thought I was one of the idle rich, and she used to beat me up. She started off pinching my pocket money, so it was robbery with violence, and then it became violence with violence, and she just did it for the fun.
I have a funny feeling it didn't do you too much harm in the long run.
No, no.
It's fascinating to hear all your various memories of that evacuation period during the war, and thank you all very much indeed for joining us.